before I watch this, let's just watch this.
Slayer failed.
Demon Slayer failed Mitsuri.
One of the Hashira. While many were given beautifully fleshed out characters and stories, one was given a dimmed spotlight.
To be honest, okay, I wouldn't go as far as to say failed. However, I do think that Demon Slayer, they could have went more into in depth with the Hashira, you know, because it feels like backstory, and then that's it, you know, like. Spoiler warning for the manga. If you ain't see the manga, if you ain't read it, then click off right now. Because throughout this video, I probably will say other stuff that's like spoilery. So just get out of here because I don't want to spoil y'all. But Obanai, we saw his backstory. Then after his backstory, it was like throughout the final battle. We saw his backstory and then he died, you know? And it kind of feels like a recurring like theme, you know? I just wish the Hashira, we saw them more as, like, I wish we got more filler. Is that only me? Maybe filler wouldn't be the right word. Just more development and being able to see them be themselves or, like, interact with each other, interact with the main cast of characters more, like, as a group and as individuals. Because with Obanai, another thing, it was, like, just him being jealous throughout the whole thing, then, or I guess in the beginning too, him not liking Sandro, like, or elbowing him and stuff like that, or you know the secrets, like the Tai show secrets that show the how they feel about each other. I wish we saw that more throughout the actual story. Like they say that Sanemi and Obanai are best friends or like friends and stuff like that. But I wish we really saw that in the story. Or how, I guess some of it really is just some fun facts, like with Gyome and Shinobu. But y'all see what I'm saying? I guess they do it with Mitsuri and Obanai because they had a thing for each other, or Gyu and Shinobu because they did the first arc together, and you could see how they, like, interact through there. But just with the other ones, with all of them.
Today.
Or, you know what? I have an example. I've been saying this. When Rengoku died, I wish we got more of the Hashira's reactions. Like, I really wish they kind of emphasized more on Mitsuri because he taught her. Like, she was his Sugoku, right? Like, she trained under him. Love breathing derives from flame breathing. She's literally like mini Rengoku. And she used to always be with Sengoku, like his brother and stuff. And, you know, when she was training under him, I wish they emphasized that after he died to make not only make his death more impactful, but make our feelings for the other Hashira, like, run deeper, you know? Because I feel like if I would have known that prior to, after he died, if I would have known that, or been like, hey, why is she crying, like, extra hard? Or something like that. It would have hit different. Am I alone in thinking that? Maybe I am. I don't think so though. And I mean, I really love Demon Slayer. I just really wish
characters and stories.
They were.
One was given a dimmed spotlight. Yeah. Today, I'm going to talk about all the ways more. Demon Slayer's anime has failed.
I do.
Mitsuri
I love
Kanroji,
the character. I think that's my favorite part of Demon Slayer.
While attempting to do her character justice in a way that the anime has yet to do. As I spent time researching this video, there were so many little nuances that stood out about Mitsuri's character that I thought were awesome. She truly is more than just the fan service Hashira. Unfortunately, time and time again, I saw a lack of emphasis placed on those things that make her stand out. And by the time I finished this video, I realized they did her a lot dirtier than I originally.
You know what? You know what they did dirty? What was the dirtiest thing done about her was the fact that their Hashira training arc. During the Hashira training arc, even though that arc was like 2, 3, however many pages, they extended everybody's little hangouts. But then when it came to Mitsuri's, she got half of the last episode and the beginning of the next episode. I was so mad. Because I'm thinking, ooh, they extended Muichiros, they doing paper plane battles and like random stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, let's just get some anime only content of this girl Mitsuri. Nope, they played right on my face. They said, let's give her just a little bit of the end and a little bit of the beginning.
Thought.
Yeah, that's
and it's not the
disrespectful.
type of dirty you want to be as the love Hashira. So what does the love Hashira entail? For as many failures as we're going to see in this video, I will give credit where it's due. Like the other Hashira, the consistency between her breathing style and who she is is handled well. Her name literally contains the Japanese symbol for sweet. As the love Hashira, you would expect her to embody that by being outgoing, optimistic, and caring. When we see all of the Hashira gather for the first time, that's exactly who she is. She feels bad for Tanjiro, and there are many scenes that show her admiration for her fellow Hashira. She's impressed by Sanemi's scars, and by the ease in which Muichiro knocks Tanjiro out. She admires the master. Not only is that all consistent with who you'd expect her to be, I think it adds nice contrast to the others who are mostly assholes here. She is the one who wants the master's permission before executing Tanjiro, as opposed to doing it on the spot, and this ties into another character trait of hers that we'll get into later. While this does make her more likable than her peers, she doesn't have any meaningful moments to get you invested in her either. Then the next time we see her, she's flashing them tiggle bitties at the hot springs. Herein lies one of the ways they've failed her. They overly rely on her looks. And look, I get it, her character design pops off the screen. Much like Rengoku, her physical charisma is off the charts. However,
what do you mean much like Rengoku? I would say much like
Rengoku, her physical charisma is off the charts. However, the ratio of comedy to action is noticeably higher for her than the others. When she originally saves the swordsmith elder, they turn it into a gag about how it's so amazing to be held in her arms. And individually, that's a funny scene, but collectively, they overdo it. When she's absolutely tearing apart demons, one of the villagers says, "Because she's cute, you forget she's so powerful." And that basically sums up this issue with her character. They focus more on her cuteness than her development or strength.
I see that.
When you think about it, Mitsuri shares a lot of similarities with Rengoku. They're both supportive, optimistic, and try to inspire others. There's a logical reason for this too. She trained under him. Except we don't learn that until a post-credit scene in the final season of the anime.
That's what I'm
well
saying.
After she's already had what was supposed to be her big fight. In the entertainment district, we saw how Rengoku impacted Tengen as a person, but somehow we don't see that for his own pupil.
That's what I'm saying. Hey. But this is not a problem that is only within the Rengoku and Mitsuri. Like, that's not only them. The problem is deeper than that. And it's not like a big issue. I love Demon Slayer. But it is something I've always thought I wish they did better.
Cool. By the way, I have videos on both of those characters, so make sure you check those out too. Knowing their connection sooner wouldn't just tie them together either. It would have shown a lot more of why she is who she is. Mitsuri uses love breathing because she couldn't master flame breathing. This led her to creating her own breathing style, one that only she can use because of her unique body composition and the specific gifts she has.
Like, isn't
First,
she
that's awesome,
goated?
but they don't tell us that, and they don't give us any indication of it either. Second, her failing at flame breathing is a struggle of hers that we could have explored and just didn't. But hey, at least we get plenty of backstory for her, right? Not exactly. When we explored Tengen's character, that was laid out over multiple episodes. Rengoku was given an important follow-up immediately after his death. And Muichiro was given a ton of time.
Oh, Muichiro. He was given days, years, centuries in that bubble. But let me tell you, I was there watching every second of it.
Swordsmith Village to explore who
and it was a lot shorter in the manga too. I feel like it did not feel as long. But anyway, they all, thoroughly backstories explored.
And Muichiro was given a ton of time in the Swordsmith Village to explore.
Wait, actually, I was going to pull up an edit, but
Mitsuri,
I don't want the video to
she's
get
given
copyrighted.
4.5 minutes. How about in the Hashira training arc?
Speak on it.
Again, we spend time with Tengen, and we get an entire episode making Muichiro
Paper
more
airplanes
relatable to others.
I loved it, but come on.
1 minute, literally 1 minute with Mitsuri's training before moving on.
A minute.
Her story could have been impactful because it is relatable.
Lay in my face.
But they didn't spend enough time on it to make us care. On the surface, her logic behind being a demon slayer, wanting a husband, is pretty lame. Especially when they try and tell us that no one will ever marry this girl. Really? No one?
Come on,
I guess I'll
say,
bite the bullet
serious?
for you guys. Make sure you pray for me. As silly as that angle is, the underlying reasons behind it are actually quite meaningful. Her prospective husband calls off their marriage because she's not the type of woman society expects her to be. She's not the right kind of feminine. That's an interesting idea to explore, not being what society wants you to be and how important that is versus being yourself. She was so insecure about the color of her hair, her lack of ladylike eating habits, and her boyish strength that she concealed all of them. All she wanted was to be accepted for who she was, and that can apply to literally anyone. But by the time we see her, she's already accepted herself and those traits. We missed her growth. One of the reasons Rengoku's legacy is powerful is because he's actively trying to honor his mother's memory. The entertainment district finally pushes Tengen to put himself before the mission. Muichiro has to regain not only his memories, but his core values. In the Swordsmith Village, Mitsuri isn't actively pursuing anything except a husband, and that's why it doesn't hit the same way. The closest we get is her desire to be accepted, and there is a touching moment when Tanjiro, Genya, and Nezuko save her together and say she's their ray of hope. Because of that, she tries to be inspirational in her own way, clearly something that comes from Rengoku. But again, they don't make that connection. And we already saw Obanai and the Master accept her without consequence, so while self-doubt is a universal insecurity, we don't see any stakes to hers. The other issue with her backstory is the focus is inefficient. Yes, her body composition is important, but so are her tremendous speed and flexibility. In the present, we see she has incredible hearing. She heard Tanjiro instantly upon his arrival in the Swordsmith Village. None of that is shown in her backstory. Instead, we see her arm wrestle adults when her go-to feature isn't strength. Then there's her family. Rengoku lost his mother and his father became abusive.
Her family chilling
Tengen's
with all
siblings
they
were
9
slaughtered
cats and
partially
all
because of him.
kids.
Muichiro lost both of his parents and then his brother. Mitsuri has her entire family. Her dad is supportive of her. She makes a point to show she gets along with her 4 siblings. It's not tragic, but that's fine. You can make that different. You can focus on the fact that she's childish and kind of a crybaby because she was babied by her father. There are lots of examples to show that this is likely. After the hot springs, she hurriedly runs down to Tanjiro and carelessly almost pops her top. She's often looking for affection, embracing Nezuko and others on numerous occasions. She's silly too. She tells Nezuko to keep a secret, and it's just that she's still hungry after having dinner. She named some of her attacks after cats because she had a cat. She's offended when the demon calls her a tramp. Remember when I said she wants to wait for the master before executing Tanjiro? I think that's because of this too. Her upbringing and love for her father lead her to support authority more than the others would. If I hadn't rewatched Demon Slayer specifically looking for things to learn about her, I never would have connected all these dots. Look, I'm not advocating for telling over showing. I just want them to do more showing. The biggest failure, though, is obvious. Rengoku achieved his goal by protecting Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu from Akaza. Tengen was the primary reason Gyotaro was defeated. Muichiro soloed the wannabe Mozart, Kyoko. Mitsuri? She stalemated one half of Mr. Victim Comp.
And then she didn't do anything during the Infinity Castle. You know, like, what are we really doing here? She was playing around with Nakime the whole time. Like, okay. That was a disservice to not only her, but Obanai. But the difference is, Obanai turned up after that with Muzan. Means that he did not. She didn't.
And would have died if Tanjiro hadn't taken out the main body.
They should have just
Unlike the first 3,
cut that scene out.
She didn't have a big moment to shine, and it makes her feel lesser when she's really not. When she first takes a direct blow from number 4, she's praised for how smartly she protects herself in close quarters. She's able to take on Hantengu when Tanjiro, Genya, and Nezuko combined couldn't. She's legitimately one of the fastest Hashira, and her sword style is not only wholly unique, but looks awesome. She tears through hordes of demons that are threatening members of the Swordsmith Village, and perhaps more importantly, she saves them all, again proving to be Rengoku-like. She's so talented that she passed the final selection in under 6 months, which is absurd. She manifests a mark. She uses 6 different self-taught breathing forms, and what I find interesting about them is not so much that they are as versatile as the other Hashira, but the way they target her opponents with different types of strikes makes her offense unpredictable and really difficult to deal with. Even if you wanted to paint the picture that she's lesser, that could have been cool. Show why she's one of the weaker Hashira, or that number 4 is levels above number 5, or that she's still early in her journey, because if you dig deep enough, you'll see she probably is inexperienced. She can't vocalize how she achieved her mark. She dives in headfirst against Han Tengu without realizing it's not the main body, and she's dead to rights before that fight ends. But you shouldn't have to rewatch the series and specifically focus on her to figure that out. I hope we see more in the movies, because as we can all see, there is so much more to explore with Mitsuri's character, and so far, they've failed her. With that, I'm out with Mitsuri's character. And so far,
I know you've been working out, but
failed
jeez. Y'all see that?
her. With that, I'm out.
Okay. I actually really enjoyed that video. That was really nice.